Everybody talked about John's positive attitude towards life, his outlook. The cup is half full, or is the cup half empty, right? John lived his life like the cup was overflowing.
One of my favorite quotes from Dad was, "The happiness of your life depends on the quality of your thoughts." And Dad was a very happy, positive person. And even if he was having his hardest day ever, he still had a smile on his face and didn't let anything get him down.
Kindest person I've probably ever known. Thoughtfulness. Thinking of others way before himself, and energetic.
I miss everything about him, but the thing that I missed the most was the way that he handled every situation with a great attitude.
I think he would like to be remembered as someone who shared, right? Not just shared things, but shared experiences.
John not only showed us how to live our life, he showed us how to gracefully go through the process of dying.
My dad, John Huempfner, was a positive and giving man his entire life. He was married to the love of his life, my mom, Ramona, and was blessed with 5 children and 12 grandchildren.
From the day I met John until the day he passed, John was the kindest and most supportive man I've ever known. John lived his life by focusing on the 5 F's: faith, family, finance, fitness, and fun. He was the ultimate cheerleader for our family and friends. We married on May 12, 1979, and began our family in 1980. In 1985, John and I moved our young family from Pembine, Wisconsin to Fond du Lac to pursue starting our business in partnership with his brother Mike. Starting out fairly small, over the years the business grew immensely, adding new plants and hundreds of employees. Though their boss, John treated his employees as equals. He truly cared and wanted to get to know his employees. He made an effort to be present and do what was right, building the reputation of being one of the best bosses someone could ask for.
As an adult now, the admiration I have for my dad is incredible. As kids, he taught us the value of hard work, yet how to balance that with fun. From growing his business to enjoying his passions like cycling, woodworking, RVing, farming, and hunting, my dad was the best supporter and provider we could have asked for. Understanding how fortunate we were, my dad emphasized to us kids the importance of giving back and lending a hand to others. The best life lesson of all, though, leaving a lasting impact with us, is that my dad never expected or wanted recognition for his generosity. He simply did it because it was the right thing to do.
As us kids grew into young adults, starting families of our own, the grandkids became my dad's pride and joy. From family vacations to spending time on the lake to various sporting events, my dad loved spending time with all of his grandchildren.
Beyond family and friends, my dad had many hobbies and passions. As one of the founding members of the Misfits, he loved cycling regularly with them and enjoyed the camaraderie and the physical challenge of the 30-mile rides the group would often embark on. But perhaps the most impressive was his skill and passion for woodworking and wood turning in his workshop. My dad quickly became known for creating beautiful masterpieces through wood turning, and with no surprise taught many others, young and old, the art of wood turning. Through this passion and advanced skill, my dad gifted many beautiful bowls, instruments, furniture, and other pieces to friends, family, and charity. Shortly following his retirement in 2017, my parents purchased property next to Ryanzi Cemetery to pursue my dad's desire of having a hobby farm. In time, Dad wanted to incorporate animals and decided to raise grass-fed steer on his farm. In true John fashion, he included the family and even taught many lessons to the grandkids. In early 2020, my dad began experiencing increased fatigue and found it difficult to enjoy some of the activities he was used to. After meeting with his doctors, it was suspected the increase in fatigue was due to a leaky mitral valve that he had known about for several years. He opted to undergo the heart surgery to repair the valve since it was impacting his quality of life. While undergoing surgery, there were a few unexpected complications, and shortly into his recovery, he began to experience constant hiccups, stomach pain, and difficulty breathing, which lengthened his stay in the ICU. He was finally released 6 days after his surgery, but later that evening, he was back at SSM Health St. Agnes Hospital as he knew something was terribly wrong. Under the care of Dr. Lilly and Dr. Santa Cruz, it was discovered that my dad had a dissected aorta that surpassed the stomach. Surgery was a success, the dissection was repaired, and through my dad's positivity and lust for life, he was on the road to recovery.
After John's second surgery, we stayed out at the barn. That's where he wanted to recover. He had such a sense of peace out there. Went for lots of walks, and I found that time to be so precious. Being present is where you feel connection. And I don't mean just present, I mean physically present. Giving that person your ultimate attention. And John and I would notice as we walked just the littlest things. We talked about life, we talked about our life together. He told me that he felt he lived a very full life. And he said, if anything happened to me tomorrow, I would feel like I've done everything that God wanted me to do.
And then about 3 weeks later, more unexpected health concerns took hold of my dad. His recovery took a turn, and he started looking very drawn and was losing weight. This quickly turned into consistent stomach pain that got so bad he was unable to eat. My dad underwent surgery to find the cause of the issue and to anticipate removing part of his stomach. They were not able to save any of my dad's stomach. They removed 16 lymph nodes and reported back with a stage 4 terminal cancer diagnosis. Though always remaining optimistic and doing everything he should to regain his health, treatment was not going to be a reality. My dad's health continued to worsen, and 2.5 weeks after the diagnosis, it became apparent he was not going to survive this. My dad made the courageous choice on his own, with the support of our family, to call hospice. Hospice was absolutely amazing. They really helped all of us to understand what was happening with my dad, what we could expect. Near the end of his life, we didn't have the experience of knowing what that was going to look like, and so they were amazing at helping us to really care for him in the way that was most helpful at the end, and explained what the process was going to look like.
When we realized that overcoming cancer was not going to be in the cards for him, he resigned himself to the fact that that was going to be his path, and he asked me if it'd be okay if he spent the rest of his days at the barn with hospice, because it was an important place to him. It's a place where he felt peaceful. He loved looking out and seeing all the animals and just the farm, and it was a place we always refer to the barn as our gathering place, and we gathered every day. We were just so blessed with beautiful people bringing food to us, and we could just enjoy being a family with the little time that we had left.
He was so open about knowing that he was dying. He wanted to be comfortable, and he wanted to say goodbye to his friends and his family and tell them. He said, I have things I need to tell everybody, And it was truly through the time, he was only on hospice a fairly short time, but it was almost as if he had this list he needed to check to get done, and he was able to do that. Sister Ann Jude Van Lannen, who started hospice here in Fond du Lac, had taught me way back that the biggest thing is presence. Being able to sit down and really hear what that patient and family is telling you, and just being able to honor where they are in their journey. That we can't fix their journey. We can't necessarily change the outcome of what's going on, but we can be present and show them that we honor and respect them where they are.
So about 10 to 12 days before my dad passed away, he was lying down. We had a massage table set up in the barn in the living room, and he was laying down on the table looking up at this big window that we have in the barn, and there he had kind of a peaceful look on his face, and he said, I was laying here earlier and was looking up at that window, and I saw a monarch, and he got kind of choked up and he said, "It was really beautiful." And I know that what he was thinking at the time, just by the way that he said it and the look on his face, was he was realizing that he was going through a sort of metamorphosis of his own, and that he'd be getting his own wings soon.
His leadership, his how to live a life well, he was the best.
Dad always brought us all together, whether it was going for a walk, playing games. He really taught us the importance of family and being together and supporting each other.
The thing that I miss most about my dad is not being able to, my relationship with my kids, wishing that I could share that with him and with my children. Ask them questions, what would you do in this scenario? And so that's really what I miss most about him, because he was my go-to, for advice and those types of things.
John was very humble. He never wanted to draw attention to himself, but I think he would want to be remembered as somebody that enjoyed life and he enjoyed people. He enjoyed God's creation. He loved to share his passion, and one thing that just always amazed me about him is that no matter how busy he was, he may have been deep into his turning, which he loved passionately, he would stop whatever he was doing if someone needed a hand with something, and it didn't matter what it was. I think that really speaks volumes of who he was.
On September 29th, 2020, comfortably resting in our gathering place, the barn, with our hands all resting on him, my dad took 3 final breaths, shed a single tear, and peacefully passed away. Cancer will not define the end of my father's story, as that was just a short page in the rich and wonderful novel that was his life. He was our rock, my mom's white knight, and his legacy and spirit will live on in the hearts of his family and friends and the community that he loved so much. Because as my dad would say, it's a good day to have a good day.